Shoot lads, you can do it yet. Come on Newport County, oh, bang it in the net.
Hello, welcome to Taff's Words. So, I haven't done one in about a month, just over a month. Yeah, so I've had plenty of ample opportunity to do one. I know a lot of the time I usually say it's time constraint, but a lot of it is, when do I get the right time to actually say something and mean it? And to be honest with you, right now is probably the worst time of all of them. But I thought, look, I'm feeling so fucking down, and I know some people don't like the swearing. I've seen comments about it. Look, if I put a filter on this crap, it's not authentic. I have to just let myself go. It's as simple as that. Otherwise, it's going to be stale and boring. You know, some people might find it stale and boring anyway, but it would be even more stale and boring if that's the case. But yeah, so I'm feeling that down about it at the moment. I feel like if I get into it now, you know, the emotion will take over and I'll say exactly what I feel right now. After Gillingham, I was still confident that the boys can turn this situation around. I was still adamant that in some games they've been very, very unlucky. There were games we deserved to win, which we haven't. And it's like the gods of football have got a problem with us and they're punishing us for whatever reason. I don't know. But yesterday's performance was so fucking woeful. I mean, don't get me wrong, the first 10 minutes, you know, we attacked well, we moved the ball around pretty well, we looked like we were a threat. But all of their goals were just too easy. Their ability to play the ball around was just too easy. And in the moment of, you know, because obviously people know I like Liverpool as well, and football really gave me a kick in the guts yesterday because Newport got fucked over, and then Liverpool conceded a last kick of the game goal to lose their first match of the season as well. So I declared that I fucking hate football, and I just can't be bothered with it anymore. Well, today my Riverside Rovers boys play against last season's champions away. So we're playing at Rogerstone, 2 o'clock today. And they have the opportunity to restore some of my love for football. Because at the moment, it's not a game that I particularly like right now. Obviously, I love the game. It's a beautiful game. I'll always be a football fan. But that was a kick in the guts for me yesterday, you know, but the Newport County thing more than anything. The Liverpool thing was just the cherry on the icing on the shittest cake you'd ever eat in your life. You know, a dog shit fucking cake. No. I think it summed a lot of things up for me. Where, have I had blinkers on this whole time? I don't think I've had blinkers on in a regard of the things that I've said regarding that we got players with ability. Our manager knows his football. Wayne Hatswell knows this league. There's talent in the team, undoubtedly. But I don't know, it was like reflection on yesterday made me reflect back on some of the games that I've seen this season. And how it was just so easy to move the ball through us. You know, how other teams, when they attack, it just looks smoother, more fluid. You know, there's no individual errors. There's very, very, very few individual errors, at least, when playing against other teams. With us, there are individual errors every single game. And I say errors, plural, because there's more than one. Sometimes more than 2 or 3. Yesterday there was many. Some resulted in goals. Some could have resulted in goals. Some should have resulted in goals against. It could have been an absolute demolition embarrassment job yesterday. But, I mean, coming back to 2-1, you thought, oh, hold on a minute. I just got a vision of Grimsby again. Because when we equalised against Grimsby, I thought we could go on and win this game. When we equalised against Chesterfield, we could go on and get a point in this game. And in the cruelest possible fashion, we went and just conceded another 2 as if, oh well, we got one. We made it look better than what it was. But then it looked a fucking damn sight worse after that though, didn't it? I get Chesterfield are one of the promotion favourites, and we haven't had an easy run of fixtures, but the one thing we've always been able to do when we've had a weaker team is we've always been able to make it hard to play against us. And sometimes you play against a good team and their quality would just shine through. And the Gillingham game was a perfect example of that. We made it hard for them, but their quality just shone through. But there's a lot of games in which we'd make it hard for them, but because we've made it so hard for them, we've been able to pinch something from it. Yesterday just looked so easy for them. And so when you reflect back, Cambridge, so easy for them. Bristol Rovers, so easy. You reflect back on all of it. I mean, Grimsby should have beaten us by more than 2-1, really. I mean, I've clung to that to say, oh yeah, we nearly got a point out of that. Yeah, but nearly getting a point is not getting a point. You know, you don't get half a point because you nearly got a point. No, you get 0 points. It's the same result as if they beat us 7-0, or if they beat us 2-1 with a 96th minute winner. It's the exact same outcome for us in the league table. And yeah, so yesterday's game was, I'm not going to call it too much of a wake-up call. Some people would. I'm not going to call it a wake-up call because I still believe in the things that I've said. But there's the parts that I haven't been paying attention to. And that is, you know, how easy it was for them yesterday is the part that I wasn't paying attention to. I just writ Cambridge off as a shit performance. And then, to be honest with you, I don't think we've had overly bad performances, but it's our ability to make things harder for them. That is where things are not going quite right for me now. You know, we're relying too much on our play, you know, and sometimes it looks good. But sometimes passes are being played a little bit too far in front or a little bit too far behind. You know, the precision isn't there. There was a point where Bobby Camwell could have put the ball into the box yesterday, but he stopped and then put it in a few seconds later when they had their players there. The decision making like that is costing. And usually when it's to do with the mind, there's an effect in the mind, and it's a confidence thing. And to be honest with you, when we're on the winless run that we've currently been on, I mean, you can call it more or less a losing run because there's only one draw thrown into that. But the only saving grace at the moment is the fact that Cheltenham and Shrewsbury are still losing, and we're still above them both, you know, on goal difference. That's the only saving grace for us at the moment. But Cheltenham have got rid of their manager. I'd imagine Shrewsbury will be doing the exact same soon. You know, there'll be other clubs in and around us who'll be getting rid of their managers as well pretty soon. And usually a change in management can usually stoke up a few results, because it happened with us with Graham Westley when Graham Westley first came in. I mean, he had a couple of losses to start with, but he started getting some results. And everyone thought, here we go, this is the turnaround. But it wasn't to be. But it can still stoke, you know, a bit of fire, get a bit of confidence back. You know, you play for someone different with a couple of different ideas. You know, someone who could say something a bit different to one player, which could make all the difference up there for them. And they could have a star game, which could be the thing, the catalyst to boost everybody else. I mean, you know, there's so many little elements that can change the fortunes of a football club. I'm just wondering, what are they all saying to each other? Because surely they all know they're good enough to be doing better than what they did yesterday and what they have done previous. I mean, losing your heads against Bristol Rovers that way was just but then the way they came back into the game showed that there's something there. Swindon is the perfect stage. Swindon at home, is going to be a big crowd, is going to be a big away following. It's an earlier kick-off. I think it might be on the tally as well. That there is the catalyst to do something like this. It could be Dave Hughes' final throw of the dice, because we've got a period of games where we're going to be playing, I think it's 3 games in a row, and I think we play Accrington, Cheltenham and Harrogate, one after the other. And they're all what we would perceive as winnable games. If Dave Hughes can't get Swindon, at least a point against Swindon, do we look at him for those 3 games? Do we think, well, Dave, you've lost, it would be 8 games and drawn 1 in the last 9. I think that's the way it works out, something like that. You've just now lost another against Swindon. These, going in with that mindset and that programme, is it the right thing to be going into those 3 very winnable games with? People have said about bringing Flynn back. Well, Flynn, as much as you rate what he's done elsewhere, pulled us out of the absolute shit in the most dire of times in 2017. Would it really be such a bad call to think, could he do it again? But the thing is, it wouldn't be pulling us out of the shit, because we wouldn't be in relegation with 11 points to recoup in 12 games. It would be, we'd either be just in relegation by a point, 1 to 3 points, if Swindon doesn't go well for Dave Hughes and Hugh decides to drop the axe and give Flynn a shot. It would be, a very, very large portion of the season left being in the relegation spots, or possibly not, because if Shrewsbury and Shrewsbury and Cheltenham lose again, it puts us, in a favourable position for a Flynn takeover, because the 2017 takeover was dire straits. We'd only won 5 games in 34. 5 in 34 we'd won, and Flynn won 7 in the last 12 to keep us up by the skin of our teeth. So, when you really think about it that way, yeah, maybe it worked for Flynn at Newport because his heart was truly in it, and it couldn't emulate it at the other clubs because, he would try and emotionally buy himself in, but maybe it just didn't work. It didn't have the same effect as it did when he was at Newport. Maybe it worked for him because the board of directors gave him exactly what he wanted all the time. I don't know. But what I know is what he managed to conjure up in those final 12 games in that season, it can't be underestimated with regards to him looking to do something similar with us now. Not that I'm saying that I'm advocating that Hughes out, Flynn in. I'm saying it's an option. It's a very viable option. So a lot of the hatred is aimed at Hugh Jenkins right now. And to be honest with you, I understand it to a degree. It's the managerial appointments, it's the transfer philosophy, it's the style of play philosophy. If you need better players to play that style of play, yeah, okay, maybe that's something to work towards when the cash flow improves, or we get more investment and we can invest in the players that can play that kind of system. Coaching that system and learning on the job, if you're losing games too often, you're putting yourself at serious risk. Look, I get it. Yeah, I get what people are saying. But the thing is, right, if these players have got talent, and I think they have, they should be able to at least play a style of football that can win us games of football right now. There's enough tenacity and creativity in that midfield. There's enough pace and explosiveness in that forward line. There's enough composure and ability to read the game to defend right. Something is off. Is it the manager? Is it just the fact that we're in a lull because we're on this winless run and it's a confidence thing and it's all up there? Is it that we're not picking the right team? A lot of suggestions of Clark to be played. Personally, if we go back to a back three, I put Clark in there. As a back four, is Clark a bit too long in the tooth to keep up if there's a pacey striker up against him and he's only got one other defender to back him up, or one other central defender to back him up? Because I know it was Clark, Baker and Cam Evans who played out that, you know, that freaky February we're calling it, you know, the period of wins that kept us up last season, effectively. Does he need somebody with that youthfulness and pace around him to mop up? Because he can't do everything on his own, you know? But then, I mean, you know, you look in that midfield, I mean, why is Matt Smith out for so long? Why is Liam Shepherd out for so long? Arguably our two most experienced players. Could Opoku play in a wide position? And could Courtney Baker-Richardson do for Opoku? Or if we played a top two, you know, 5-3-2. We go back to a 5-3-2. We shore up that defence. We stop leaking goals. If we play a top two with Courtney and Opoku, does Courtney give Opoku the space like he did for Dom Telford? Could that be the combination that we need? Could Camwa play in a number 10 position? I'd say no, because he's more of a winger. Could it be that we play a 3-4-3 and actually play two wingers, you know, and two midfielders that could actually come back? I mean, or do we play like a 3-5-2 in that regard? Play two holders, two wingers, advanced wingers, and one creative in the centre. Is that a possibility? There's many possibilities, many formations, there's many types of tactics you can put in place for this kind of thing. But personally, I think we need to do something for the Swindon game. 4-3-3 looked like our best formation, but if we're leaking too many goals, we're not having enough at the back, it is a 3 centre-back need. Whenever we go wrong with 4 at the back, and whenever we revert to having 3 central defenders, it generally tends to fix the problem. And that's my personal, you know, memory and history of following Newport County. So, I tell you what's mad, right? A lot of sense have come out. Now, I didn't think that was going to happen at the beginning of the video, because I really did this purely on impulse. I never have a script. It just comes out of here. And I've just spilled out what's churning around there. And what's mad is I've been able to make a lot of sense of it. I didn't think I would. I just thought I would end up going off in a big rant. I've had a bit of an epiphany, obviously, you know, where I'm siding a little bit more with the negative side of it. I still think there's a lot of outrageous shit being said. If people said things calmly and collectively and actually applied a little bit of logic in the way that they're thinking, then these people can actually get some kind of credibility. So I'd like to think that, you know, people could actually be sensible about this. Instead of putting memes out to make Hugh Jenkins out to be completely fucking clueless, you know, or to make out as if he's doing us over or whatever. That's just stupid. You know, it's just a rank stupidity. You know, you don't buy into a football club just to fuck it up. You don't buy into a football club just to come in and think, oh, I'm going to be the main man now. No. There's not an ego there. He owns the football club. He's the owner. And he's trying to adopt the philosophy. If that philosophy's not working, it's up to us as supporters to make him believe that it's not working and he needs to adopt something different, or he needs to adopt something on a temporary basis that's going to save us. And then, if investment comes before the end of the season, next season, right, okay, let's play your fancy football because we can afford the players to actually make it happen. But let's see. Anyway, if you missed the montage that I did, it's the next video down. That wasn't made. So I know a few people are saying, oh, send it to Hugh. It's not been made to increase the division between the ownership and the supporters. That's been made more for a unity thing. have a bit of pride in Newport County, feel good about Newport County. You know, that's what that is, a reminder of who we are, you know, what we've been through, what we've done to get to where we got to. And the message really is, if we fucking pull together, we might get ourselves out of it. Anyway, 20 minutes of me babbling on. I think you guys have had enough now. If you watched all the video, I want to know in the comments if you watched it all. If you switched off at some point, I'd like to know why. Maybe there's other things I could be talking about. I have promised someone a video to respond to something that they put in. And that, look, I am going to do that. Just putting myself in the right headspace and having ample amount of time to do it. That's all it is. All right. But anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Cheer for now, and as always, up the county.